Hi everyone, welcome to the Adelaide Cottage podcast. My name is Shauna, and you can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Adelaide Cottage. I'm going to try to remember to put that info in the down bar for you so that you can maybe screenshot it if you want to follow me on there. And make sure to subscribe to this channel if you like the podcast so that you'll be notified of any new episodes as they come out. So this is a podcast mostly about knitting. Sometimes I have some crochet and sewing or quilting projects to show you. Today I have knitting and a little bit of crochet, but not much. So welcome. Thank you for checking out the podcast if you're new, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back and putting up with my hiatus from podcasting. It has been a crazy summer. Such a good summer, though. I've been home with my two boys. One is 9, one is 4, and I'm not used to sibling rivalry, number one, because my sister is 10 years older than me. So by the time I was old enough to even bother her, she was already moved out. And number two, boys. So my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and even my husband, Jason, tells me that it's normal for them to constantly fight and wrestle and hurt each other. So it's kind of been impossible for me to record a podcast this summer. So I'm really glad to be back. My oldest is off to school. He's in 4th grade this year. And I have my 4-year-old at home who is attending pre-K, but not until about 1:30 in the afternoon, until 4. And then my 9-year-old gets home off the bus at 3. So I have like an hour to myself, and it's not quite long enough to get everything together and record and worry about being there on time and stuff. So anyhow, next year they're both going to be in school, like full time. Evan, my youngest, will be in kindergarten all day long, and Aiden will be in school all day long, and I'm already fearing that. I don't want to be home alone yet. I was watching Sarah of the Love Sock Wool podcast. Her recent episode came out yesterday. Today is September 15th, by the way. Lovely podcast. If you aren't a subscriber, I highly encourage you to go check it out. She's such a sweetheart and has so many inspiring knitting and quilting projects all the time. But she was talking about how all of her kids are in school now, and she's kind of having a hard time emotionally dealing with that. So it is hard. I'm blessed to be able to stay home with my babies, but when they're not here all day next year, it's going to be different. So anyway, long story short, sorry for wiggling the camera. I have show notes in front of me because it's been so long since I did a podcast that I'm going to have to refer to them because honestly, I have a lot to show you today. This is not staying up. I might just have to hold it. I have a lot to show you, and I have giveaway winners to announce. I have more prizes to give away. And I'm really going to try to use that hour that I have once in a while to record a little bit more often. But enough about that. Let's get moving. So we have some pattern gifts, which I'm going to announce all of the giveaways and prize winners at the end of the episode, just so that you can kind of see my whips and my finished objects first, and then we'll get into all that stuff. So just before I show you that, I wanted to say thank you very much to everyone who has sent me messages or commented either here on YouTube or in my Ravelry group or on Instagram about my MRI for my spinal cord tumor. Everything came back stable. The tumor has not grown. So thank you very much for your positive thoughts and vibes and prayers, especially for those who pray. I feel completely blessed to get news like that. So 6 more months, we'll go back. I think it's in January or February for another one. So in between these 6-month visits, I try to forget about it, even though it's hard to. But I really try so that I can really enjoy my life. And what else? We did lots of camping this summer, which was fun. I think at the end, I'll get into kind of what our summer was like for those of you who aren't interested. So I'm going to skip ahead to kales. We have a kale going on, which I don't think a lot of you know about because I failed to talk about it. I think I might have talked about it on the last podcast a little bit, but then I announced it on Instagram. So as of, was it July 1st or June? It was June 1st, I believe. Wow, cool.
3.
Okay, thank you. We might get a few interruptions. Do you want to say hi really quick? And then you can go watch your movie, okay? And say hi to everybody. This is Evan. Oh, I love him so much. He's such a love bug. Mama's boy for sure. Okay, so we have the Adelaide along. If you go to the Ravelry group called Adelaide Cottage, if you don't know how to get there, there will be a link below this video for you to click on. If you're not already a Ravelry member, I encourage you to be. It's free. There's lots of free patterns and paid for patterns and groups where you can chatter about knitting projects and kales and everything like that. And then you click on the groups tab, type in Adelaide Cottage, and you will find it there. But all the info's there. Every month, I'm drawing a winner from the finished objects thread. So you have to use at least 50 grams of Adelaide Cottage yarn and finish it in that 1 month period. So you can knit socks or whatnot, but everything has to be Adelaide Cottage yarns, just so that we can see all the different colorways knit up and everything like that. I thought it would be fun. And then I draw a winner, and that winner will win a skein of Adelaide Cottage yarn in the colorway of their choice, which I thought would be super cool so that they can pick out what they'd like. So the winners for that for July and August will be announced at the end of the podcast, but go ahead and join in. It's a year-long knit along, goes all the way until next summer, and I'm happy to give a yarn away. I love seeing your projects knit up, so definitely go ahead and join if you have Adelaide Cottage yarn in your stash or thinking about buying some. I'm going to show a few of the fall colorways that I have towards the end as well, but that's going on. We also have a Gilmore Girls yarn club for those of you who are Gilmore Girls fans. Round 1 is coming to a close. We had, I thought it was a lot of fun, and the feedback that I received from those who participated thought it was a lot of fun too. I basically drew inspiration from a scene in an episode and drew the colors from that scene. And I described all of that when I sent a little snippet along with the yarn each month. And then it also came with a progress keeper. One was made from a needle runs through it, one was made by me, and one was made by Joanna of the Gnome Knitter. So each month you get a skein of yarn and a progress keeper inspired by this show, and it's super fun. I love the Gilmore Girls. I love watching it, and I love taking notes when I'm watching, like, oh my gosh, this would be a great colorway or colorway name or whatever. So that went for 3 months, July, August, September. There are a few slots open for the October 15th shipment. It will run October, November, and December. So I highly encourage you, if you're interested, to go ahead and grab those slots because there's only a few left. It's open to the U.S. and international customers. There are 2 separate listings because of shipping. Shipping is included in the price. But yeah, and I'm going to show you, actually, I'll show you now so I don't forget, the colorways that I came up with. So the first, I can't show you September's because that actually is getting mailed out today, the 15th of every month. The first colorway is called, in the scene where Rory is really upset over her breakup with Dean, and her mom Lorelai tells her that she needs to just wallow. She needs to sit in front of a TV in a dark room, watch sappy movies, cry, and eat tubs and tubs of ice cream. So I drew inspiration from not only the ice cream, but what they were wearing during that scene, and came up with this colorway. Okay, so the first colorway for the Gilmore Girls installment number 1 is called I'm Ready to Wallow Now, like I said. And this is it caked up. So there's kind of yellowish golds with little speckles of red and blue. And yeah, I like the way that turned out. And it is being kept in this gorgeous Gilmore Girls project bag, a drawstring one, Coffee, Yarn, and Gilmore Girls. One of the women who is in the group and posted an FO in the Ravelry thread had this, and I was like, where did you get that? I need one. So I went ahead and ordered one. And it's from Whirly Girl Inc. Her name is Rachel, and that's on Etsy. And she also included these darling stitch markers that she made for me. And they're so cute. They're all tea themed. And then this center one, my fingers are all full of dye. It's so gross. The center one she crocheted for me into a little doily. I can't even handle it. You guys know how much I love miniature things. There's a little spoon. So I just love those. And she was generous enough to include one for one of you lucky winners. This one, however, is going to be, I have a lot of giveaways today, but this particular bag that she included, same as mine, is going to be offered to one of the current Gilmore Girls club members, since it was sent during that time period. So if you are enrolled in the July, August, September group, you're eligible to win. I will have a thread open in the Ravelry group, Adelaide Cottage Ravelry group, where you can enter, just answer a prompt question, and you might be able to win this. So that's exciting to show. What else do we have? We have installment number 2. I'll show you very quickly. This was based off of, this is called Lorelai's Dream, and it's on our Twinkle base. You can find all of our yarn in the Etsy shop called Adelaide Cottage. That will be linked below as well. And then here's my little snippet of where the inspiration came from. But this was from when Lorelai dreamt that that they were together and living together, and she asked him to wake her up at 7, and he set like 35 alarm clocks or something crazy like that at 7, and they all went off at once. And then she went downstairs and he hid like the caffeinated coffee because apparently she's pregnant with his twins. And it was just a really cute scene. So I made a little progress keeper that's an alarm clock. And then this is the Lorelai's Dream. So that was number 2. And then number 3 I can't show you, but I'm super excited about that too. I'll show you the next time. So like I said, there are a few slots open for the next round. If you're interested, it's a 3-month thing. Okay, so I'm going to show you my finished object. I was working on my Bertha Mason socks the last time we chatted, I believe. I had one done and was working on the second. But those are finished and blocked. And I really love the way they came out. I did a 2x2 rib. I cast on 56 stitches on a US size 0 needle using magic loop. And this is Adelaide Cottage yarn in Bertha Mason, inspired by Jane Eyre. And then I use Knit Picks Stroll Fingering, I believe, in the cork colorway for the heels and toes. I did a fish lips kiss heel, and what is it called? Just a wedge toe, and then closed it with Kitchener stitch. So those were fun. I really loved knitting on those. That's the only finished object I have, unfortunately. I was working on, when we went camping once, I cast on a sock, and that was just plain vanilla sock. There was no pattern to that Bertha Mason one. When we were camping, I cast on a sock with this Regia or Opal. Let me find the tag. Oh, you guys. So disorganized. Here it is. So this is Opal Winter Build Polyp Wintergeist, number 625. I found it on eBay. I saw Susan B. Anderson knit a pair of socks with this colorway, and I really, really loved it. And 75% virgin wool and 25% polyamide. So I cast on at camping, again, 56 stitches, 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. I do 25 rows for the rib, and then I do 50 rows for the leg. Fish lips kiss heel, and then I measure about 7.5 or 8 inches from there to the end of the foot, and then I start decreasing for the toe. So I did this in 2 days. I found that this self-patterning or self-striping yarn was super fun. It's just really cool how you're knitting in it. It just makes up its own pattern. It's really neat. And then I recently cast on the second one. This was the first time I didn't knit socks concurrently. And that's the last time, because I did not want to cast on another sock. I almost got second sock syndrome, but I love these so much that I want to wear them. So I recently cast on the second one, and this is how far I've gotten. And I'm using my Chigu Minis. And this cable is super flexible. Love it, love it. And size 0. Plain vanilla sock. And I'm loving the fish lips kiss heel. I think I want to try a heel flap sometime soon. But yeah, I was having a hard time remembering how to Kitchener without looking at a big like pattern type thing or blog post. So I just knit, or I made a little note for myself, and I'm going to make copies for my other sock project bags, but feel free to screenshot this if you'd like and copy it down. But basically, that's first, there's 6 steps, and then you have to repeat rows 3 through 6 until you close up the toe. So yeah, and that's being kept in my beautiful Belle from Beauty and the Beast bag made by Sarah of Lovesock Wool. The inside is lined with this pretty red fabric that has the roses. Love it. So that's one FO, or not FO, whip. Another pair of socks that I recently cast on. They're being kept in this adorable Halloween project bag made by Jilly of the Knitting Broomstick podcast and Etsy shop. She recently opened her own Etsy shop to sell her handmade project bags. So I definitely recommend you go check it out. These are so well made. And so are Sarah's of Lovesock Wool. They're nice and squishy, very durable, beautifully sewn, nice straight lines. Beautiful. And then she has a little broomstick for the knitting broomstick. It's kind of her signature piece. And then it's lined with candy corns. So I just love that. And we decided, we both had skeins of Gnome Acres pumpkin spice latte, and we decided to knit them at the same time. So this is, here's the tag, pumpkin spice latte. This is on her scruffy gnome base because I wanted the tweed pieces in there. And this is what I have done. I'm knitting these concurrently. I did the cuff on one, same recipe as I always use. I'm going to break out into sock patterns soon, you guys. Please don't be bored with my vanilla socks. But it's really fun to work with the colorways and just see how they knit up. 56 stitches, size 0, 2x2 rib. And then I went on and did the cuff of this one. Same idea, and then knit the leg. I'm almost done knitting the leg, and then I'll do the leg of this one. But I have a pretty little progress keeper on there. And then I'm going to do the heels and toes with this Gnome Acres, what is this colorway called? Chai Chai, which I was gifted from a friend. Really pretty different colors of beige and brown and cream. There we go. So yeah, let's see. Another whip down, right guys? Okay, so I had shown you, I think, a while back that I started a hat. And this is the Art Deco hat by Melody of Bee Mandarins. And I was doing so good on it. This is the picture of the pattern. I just love this pattern. The way it looks when it's finished. This is in a beautiful handmade project bag by Olivia of This Handmade Life on Instagram. She embroidered all these beautiful wildflowers. We did a swap once. And I am using, for this hat, a pretty mauve color. And this is a Miss Babs Yowza skein, which is a light worsted, super huge skein of yarn, lots of yardage. It comes with 560 yards, but it's 100% superwash merino wool. I purchased this at Rhinebeck last year. And this is my ginormous cake. Oh, it's like as big as my head, you guys. But look how pretty that is. It's a tonal mauve. And this is what I have done. And I screwed up the pattern. I was sitting in the waiting room at a hospital. I brought this with me to knit on while my sister was having surgery. And there was this woman who was talking on the phone, on speakerphone in the waiting room with, I don't know who it was, but some man. And she was swearing and like talking about other people in a negative way. It was, and I tried to mind my own business and knit, but I couldn't help but be distracted. And so I messed the pattern up. So I'm going to have to rip back to the end of the ribbing and start again. But this is this has a lovely little progress keeper from the Gnome Knitter, little cupcake. And these are on my Knitter's Pride rosewood needles, interchangeable, which I really love working with. So yeah, I would like to get this done for Rhinebeck so that I can wear that and my Aisling shawl. I haven't touched my Aisling shawl since the last time I talked to you. but that's something that's heavily on my mind, and I would like to finish up the border of that because I'd like to have a shawl and a hat when I go there. Okay, so what else do we have? I have a new cast on that you haven't seen yet. And this is in my chicken boots. I think it's called a double top something, or zipper, double zipper, zipper double. I don't know. Something like that, but I love this bag. It's a perfect size. I want to knit Jason a fornicating deer hat for when he goes hunting with his family in November. And it will be a surprise for his birthday in October. So this is a free pattern on Ravelry. And I forgot the name of the person who, oh, here, no, that's not it. Let's see if it's on here. No, the pattern's covered up by a picture. If you go on my project page on Ravelry, you'll be able to see and be linked to the designer of the pattern. So basically it's a buck and a fawn mating, and I thought he would think it's hilarious. So again, this is free on Ravelry. I cast on 96 stitches, did 2x2 rib for the, what do you call that? What do you call that? Oh my gosh, I'm going blank. And I think I'm going to skip this part here and just do little stars in the sky, not this big one either. But I already finished this bottom part, and I have to start right under where the washi tape is. And for this project, I picked, well, let me show you what I have done so far. This is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Tweed in Flagstone Heather for the main color. This is worsted weight 80% Peruvian Highland wool, 20% Donegal tweed, 110 yards. And then for the contrast, I have same type of yarn in the Brass Heather colorway. And this is what I have done. So this is Fair Isle, and these are on my carbons. I used size US 7 for the brim. That's what it's called. It's a brim. And US 6 for the pattern. But this is the bottom part, and now I'm starting to get into the deer mating part. And I have a little coffee progress keeper on there that I made. Coffee cup. So how long did I do the brim? It's about 1.5 inches for the brim. So yeah, if I sit down and really knit on this, I can probably get it done in a couple days. I just need to do that. Yeah, that's all I wanted to show you about that. I knit a little bit on, or crocheted a little bit on my scrappy granny stripe blanket, and this is in a new bag I just got from my sister-in-law who sells 31 products. This pattern doesn't really show the knitting needles on here, but you can embroider your bags with different designs, and they just came out with a knitting one, so I had to get it, and it's got little slots here for my crochet hooks and nice long straps. And I think I'm going to carry this around in Rhinebeck because it's a perfect size and the straps are a nice length for my shoulder. So inside, there's a nice pocket where I keep all my scraps or minis, and then the actual blanket. I'm not sure how much I have crocheted since the last time, but I will try to find my progress keeper for you. Okay. I was all tangled, you guys. Okay, I can hear it banging on the box underneath me. There it is. Okay. So the last time I was right here, and I got a few rows done, but this is a really massive blanket that's going to go on our queen size bed. And I believe I chained on 310 stitches. So it's growing. I love this project. It's just something to do when I'm watching TV with my husband and don't want to really think. Won't spend too much time on it because not much has changed. And I'm sure you guys have seen these everywhere. But I love this print because it looks like knit stitches, doesn't it? I think I'm going to switch my Cozy Memories blanket into this once it gets big enough because that's my next whip. I cast on a new one, a new Cozy Memories. I really loved the way the center ridge looked on KT of Inside Number 23 podcast and on Instagram. She's making a Cozy Memories blanket, and I loved the raised ridge in the middle. The previous one I was making you couldn't really tell where the center ridge was, and I wasn't a fan of the small squares. I think they were 30 by 30. I wanted to knit with the yarn more and enjoy it a little bit more. So I started a new one. My last one, I just wove in all of the ends, and I gave it to my niece for her dolls because my husband built her a big doll house and she's obsessed with it. So I started this new one, and then I loved Sarah of Love Sockwolves, the size of her Cozy Memories blanket, and she's doing 60 by 60, so you cast on 61 stitches. And I just started this the other day, so I only have 2 squares, but this is how it looks. So you use a center double decrease for the middle. And I really love it. I'm enjoying this a lot. So I have all of my minis for that in my cute little bulga basket. And I'm using carbon straight needles. What is this? US size 2 or 2.75 millimeter. So that's my other whip. What else do we have? Okay, I have a cross stitch project, and then I will go into winners, giveaway announcements, and some stash enhancement. So bear with me. Let me see, we're only at 21 minutes. That's not too bad. So I was in love with cross stitch a long time ago, but then I made a big mistake and got frustrated and put it away for almost a year. I pulled it back out. I've been re-inspired. I love it all over again. And I've been working on this. This is what it looks like when it's completely done. The chart itself is in 4 different parts, but it's a Christmas stitch. It says, "The street is filled with visions, grand, a lovely night in Christmas land." And I just love that. And I purchased all the little buttons to add to it. And I kind of changed some of the colors too and bought some hand-dyed variegated floss instead of just the plain DMC. I am using some DMC floss. If you have any questions about the ones that I used, feel free to let me know. Now that I know how to find my comments on my episodes on YouTube, I didn't realize you had to scroll all the way down through like other recommended videos to see comments for my episodes. But now that I know that, please feel free to comment because I am occasionally checking. I might not be able to reply to all of them, but I will be reading them all. So if there's an important question that you want me to respond to sooner, I can probably respond fastest via Instagram at Adelaide Cottage or on Ravelry. So I'll show you how far I've gotten with that. And this is stitched on a 32 count Belfast linen in the Dapple colorway, which I thought represented a night snowy sky very nicely. So I finished part 1 and now I'm moving on to part 2, which is where you see those brown stitches. That's going to be another part of the fence and a fence pole. But I love this so much. So much. So yeah. And then I purchased some new charts to work on after this. It's another nice, fun craft to do. And then this is being housed, since it's Christmas land and there's houses and Santa, I made this little project bag to keep it in. This was a tutorial by Vanna, who is the Twisted Stitcher on YouTube. And she does a tutorial in one of her videos on how to make this cross-stitch envelope. Okay, so now I am going to show you some new colorways in the shop, just in case you're interested. This is my favorite that I've dyed for this season. I wound it up and I was going to cast on a shawl with it, but then I ripped it out and I decided to keep it for Rhinebeck weekend, just for something to knit on while I'm there with the girls, maybe cast on a pair of socks or even a shawl. So this is called Autumn in Rhinebeck, and I tried really, really hard to capture the colors of fall in New York, which is where I live. And Rhinebeck is in New York, so it's appropriate. But it's such a nice, I just love it at Rhinebeck when we go. So I included some like burnt orange, maroon, a deep plum purple, a little bit of light green for the leaves. And this is how it looks, you guys. This is on the gold twinkle base. Has some gold stellina. And this is it on Stratford tweed. All skeined up. This is Spellcaster. Fun Halloween colorway. This is Caramel Latte. This is Apple Picking. And this is Candy Apple. And this one's on tweed, but I think I have some in sparkle, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's shop update. I'm going to have another shop update. I'm waiting for more yarn to come in. What is today? Thursday. So it'll probably be next weekend. Like I said, today's September 15th, so next weekend, either Friday or Saturday. But I will post the definitive dates and time in my Etsy shop, which is again linked below, and I also usually put a notice up on Instagram as well. So for some stash acquisition, we have Shannon of the Yarn at Home Mom and I are both doing Gilmore Girls yarn clubs, and we thought it would be really fun to swap with one another so that we both have something exciting Gilmore Girls-ish to open. So she sent me her installment, and this is called What is a Danish Without Coffee and Cherry Filling? Look at how beautiful that is. And again, this is Yarn at Home Mom. And then you've got the mini for the heels and toes. And it came with this from Little Bitty Delights, a little cherry Danish. So sweet. And then she was kind enough to send an extra skein to me because she knows that I love coffee. And Gilmore Girls love coffee too. And it's called Candy Cane Coffee. This is on her Hardy sock base, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. And this one is 75% superwash merino, her basic fingering, and 25% nylon, 463 yards. So that's fun. And I think I'm going to, I was inspired by Sarah of Love Sackwool, which also, she has a colorway that Jilly of the Knitting Broomstick asked me to dye up especially for Sarah because she went there to visit her. And Jilly named it Sock Love and Sarah. And I told Sarah, if you put it on your podcast, I'm probably going to get some requests to have it dyed for people to purchase. And I said, it's completely up to you. This can completely be your special colorway. I'll never repeat it. Or if you want your viewers to enjoy it too, just let me know. And she said, I'd love for you to dye some up. So that is available in the shop. I think I'm sold out right now, but I will be dyeing up more for the next update. But it's called Sock Love and Sarah, and it's very cute. So I was inspired by her. She knit a shawl. I think it's called the Drifter, the High Plains Drifter, or I can't remember for sure. But she basically included, it's a garter stitch shawl, and she included all of her colorways for her Bronte along. So any colorway that was inspired by that Bronte along, Jane Eyre colorways, etc., she put into this shawl, which I thought was super fun, and I'd like to do that for my Gilmore Girls Club. So I've been like trying to figure out a nice shawl to make. Maybe I'll make the same pattern because it's a nice easy garter stitch. But to put all my Gilmore Girls Yarn Club yarns in that. Doesn't that sound fun? Oh, the things we get excited about, right? Okay, the next thing that I received as a gift was from the beautiful Amy of the Little Tailoress podcast. She is a sweetheart. I love her podcast. She's so inspiring, so creative. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Beautiful, beautiful woman, and inside and out. So she sent me a beautiful card, which of course I'm not going to show the inside, but I just love the outside of that. Look how yummy those look. And then they give you the recipe, lavender cupcakes, on the back, which I'm going to try. Because at my local farm where we pick up our vegetables every week, they have lavender that you can pick fresh every week. And she sent me this little care package when she found out I was going to New York City for a checkup, which was super sweet. She sent this. Oh my gosh. You guys, I've never owned mohair before. I love this. I cast on a one of the patterns. What the heck is it called? Blanking. I'll put it in the down bar. I cast it on. It was a mystery. It was a mystery knit along, and it calls for, you can use mohair in it, and I didn't have any, so I think I'm going to put this into it, and it will look fantastic. But it's so soft, and the color is so me. It's so like neutral and pale, and it's called, excuse me if I mispronounce this, but Peigneur, Peignoir, Peignoir, 72% kid mohair, 28% silk, and it's a lace weight, 50 grams. Gorgeous. I've already thanked you, Amy, but thank you again. You are a sweetheart. That was so nice of you to send my way. And then she also included these gorgeous mini skeins, which I absolutely love. I can use these for heels and toes for socks. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just blown away by the friendships that I've made in this community. You have no idea how much I appreciate every single one of you who take time out of your life to get in contact with me, watch my podcast, look around in my shop, communicate with me on Instagram. It's just such a beautiful community, and I love you all for it. Seriously, I do. Now, Jilly of the Knitting Broomstick podcast was kind enough to send me this beautiful Jane Eyre bag. Oh my gosh. How beautiful is that, you guys? I'm in love with it. I love how she's sitting there with her books and her tea. She's got a little bird next to her. I am no bird, as she says. And then the inside is lined with this gorgeous vintage floral pattern. She's so talented. Visit her shop. Then I got a beautiful little package from Kristen, who is at Tiger Fields, Fildes, and Bouncy Tiger Knits on Ravelry. And she sent me yummy, yummy treats from Australia. What were they called? I ate them. I'll post a picture. I think they're called Tim Tams. Amazing. We don't have them here, so I enjoyed the heck out of those. Thank you so much. I appreciate your generosity for sending me that. You know I love chocolate. I purchased, like I said, I got pumpkin spice latte from Gnome Acres, and with that I also pre-ordered her Bobbing for Apples colorway. Love it. This will be socks. And with our pumpkin spice latte sock little knit along that Jillian and I were doing, I've recently started reading, like really reading the Harry Potter books, which I'm loving. And she thought that I needed to have a Harry Potter yarn in my stash because I don't. So she sent me this Skein by Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns. And I opened it and then I closed it. Sorry for the crinkling. I closed it so that it would stay nice to show you guys. But this is Protego Maxima. It's a variegated colorway. Sparkle sock, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, 438 yards. So it's a gold stellina. I love this. I love gold. I love gray. My cup of tea. This will be in a shawl for sure. Love it, love it. But Harry Potter, you guys. I'm almost done with the first book. I started the first book a long time ago and got through like 10 pages and I'm like, oh, it's kind of, it seems like it's for a child, but I just pushed through it and I was hooked on it by like the second chapter. Loving it. If I can sit my butt down to read more often, that would be great, but that doesn't really happen. Okay, so then Chicken Boots. They had a Harry Potter birthday anniversary celebration where they had all kinds of fabrics inspired by Harry Potter. And I saw Jilly's little clear wristlet. My husband's looking through the craft room window, probably to see if I'm still podcasting. No, I'm not done. He's playing in the yard. He just got home. He's playing in the yard with Evan. I loved her clear wristlet, and when I travel, I like to have something small as a knitting bag that I can also keep like chapstick in and, my medicine for my neck and all of that. So I love this, you guys. This is called McGonagall fabric, but it just hangs on your wrist, and as you walk, you can knit, and things won't fall out because there's a nice little elastic band here, which isn't too tight and isn't too loose. And then I got the Harry Potter washi tape. This is my second one because I love it so much. And the stitch markers, which I might turn a couple of these into progress keepers, but yeah, super cute. And these are from A Needle Runs Through It, but sold on Chicken Boots website. Was that all I have in here? I think so. And then I loved it so much, I got another one in this beautiful print that I thought would be really nice for summer and spring and even fall. So I love these. These were, I think, $28. This is the floral print. which I think is completely worth it. You can see through it, so you know what project's in there. It'll fit your knitting needles. And I just love this feature. There's no zip, there's no drawstring. Everything's just nice and safe in there. What else did I get? I signed up for Lit Cube. Their Stars Hollow Monthly, where they'll send you a package that is completely Gilmore Girls inspired every month. And they had this that you could just buy outside of it. And it's a Luke's Menu planner. But I have an Erin Condren planner, which I adore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the inside sheets out and turn this into a recipe book. But for those of you who don't have planners, I think they still offer these in their shop. It's litcube.com. And I thought it was really cute, even just to put on the shelf. And I got a bunch of other things too, like Stars Hollow sunglasses. I'm such a fangirl. Pathetic, right? No, it's not. I think that's it for acquisition. So let's get into giveaways and giveaway winners. So we're gonna do the winners first for the Adelaide Along. Let me see how we're doing on time. 40 minutes. Okay, perfect. Adelaide Along, we have a July and an August winner. The July winner was, and these people, you can, if you read the description, you can also post on Instagram with a certain hashtag and get another entry. So they did this, and the winner is entry number 1, because there were only 2 entries, but each of them got an extra entry, so there were 4 that we could draw from, and it came up with number 1 using random.org, and that is Chris Mitch on Ravelry. So Christine, I believe, is your name. Congratulations, you have won a skein of Adelaide Cottage yarn in a colorway of your choice. So contact me via Ravelry and let me know your contact information and which colorway you're interested in, and I will dye that with the next update. For August, the winner is Knits with Doxies, which is Nancy. So congratulations, Nancy. You won a skein of Adelaide Cottage yarn. Contact me via Ravelry with the same information. So that was fun. We'll have September soon. So if you have time to knit something, or you are knitting something in Adelaide Cottage yarn, enter it in the FO thread before the end of September and you could win. So now we have some giveaways. So we have the Gilmore Girls bag, which is for the first round of Gilmore Girls. There's going to be a prompt in the thread. We were gifted so many patterns by generous designers. The first one is by Kristen of Woolen Vine Yarns and the Yardgasm podcast. She kindly donated a pattern to one of you lucky winners, her new Oracle shawl, which is a circular, gorgeous shawl. It has some brioche in it. I will insert a picture here. So there will be a prompt in the Ravelry group for that. So please answer the question if you're interested in winning, and I will draw a winner and announce it on the next podcast. The second one that we were gifted is called Follow the Butterfly Shawl by Naomi, and it is by, let's see, so she is Cozy Cute Knits Designs along with Jen Sheelan. They're doing a Warm Fuzzies cal that goes through the middle of July through the end of September, and since I didn't have a chance to podcast, I'm not sure how many of you will be able to join the cal, but definitely go check out Jen Sheeler's podcast, and I'll link their Ravelry group in there too, so you can find out about their knit along. But there will be a prompt in my group to answer in order to try to win one of those. So thank you so much for donating that. The third one is, I'm looking down at my show notes, I'm sorry. The third one is the Rhinebeck is Calling Socks, a gorgeous pattern by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady podcast. Kay donated a pattern to one of you lucky winners. Thank you very much, Kay. I'm going to put a prompt for you to answer for one of those. The next one is the Color Blender Scarf and Wrap by the lovely Mina of the Knitting Expat podcast. Thank you, Mina. That was extremely generous. This is definitely in my queue to knit up. And the last one is Nala's Big Sister Shawl by Amanda Raitt. Which is a beautiful shawl. Thank you very much, Amanda. And again, hop on and answer the question for that in order to try to win. So I think that's it for that. Just a little bit about what's been going on with me all summer, if you care to listen. If not, thank you so much for joining in today. Thank you for putting up with my disorganization, and I will see you next time. But we went camping a lot, so almost every weekend that my husband was off, we were camping. It's one of our favorite things to do. We love it. It's relaxing. When the boys went to sleep every night, I stayed up and read my Harry Potter book or stitched on, I wanted to bring that to show you, my son's Bucilla stocking kit. I'm almost done with Evan's, and then I can move on to Aiden's. So my goal now is to have both of those done so that the kids at least have their stockings by Christmas. I don't think I'll get mine and Jason's done this year. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. I talked about everything. I thought I had more to chit-chat about. I probably forgot. Oh my gosh! I'm glad I looked to my side. The wonderful and lovely knitter and podcaster. It's a new podcast to me. It's actually a new podcast, period. Donna, who is Knitting in a Pickle podcast. I'll link it in the show notes. Or In a Pickle Knitting. I'm sorry. In a Pickle Knitting. She's one of my customers, and she asked if she'd be able to send a project bag to give away on the podcast, and she also sent one for me. Her podcast is lovely. Definitely check it out. She's a retired librarian, I believe, and I love all the projects she's working on and love her aesthetic and just very, very sweet. So she made this to give away to one of you. You guys, this project bag is so well made. I can't even describe it. Absolutely gorgeous. And here's her tag. And she included a little cherry zipper pull. It has a handle along with her tag here. Zipper on the outside. It's so sturdy, but still soft and squishy. I love it. And then inside, you get an interior zipper. And then you get interior pockets. There's one for a pen or scissors and two larger ones. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Donna. She's just so sweet. And then she included one for me. Pop-Tarts. To go with my Pop-Tarts yarn that I put aside for myself. And this has white stars on the inside. So yay! Thank you to everybody who has donated to the podcast. It is so appreciated. I love doing giveaways. Like I said, I am really going to try to podcast more often. Honestly, the hardest part for me is I have an iPhone with very little memory, and my iPad is the same way, and that's what I record on. So I can record a video, but I don't have enough memory to download the editing app that I need to edit it and upload it to YouTube. So I have to record it on my podcast. Half the time it cuts me off because it doesn't have enough memory. There basically has to have no other photos or videos on here for me to do it. Then transfer that video to my ancient laptop, who runs slower than a snail. Edit it with that old-fashioned app, and then like move it over to a folder and then upload it from there to YouTube. So it's like a huge process. And then let's talk about my slowest of the slow, like slowest possible internet speed. So we have to upgrade our internet and upgrade my phone soon, which we plan to do anyway. So once I have memory on my phone, you guys are probably going to get sick of me because I will be filming podcasts and doing all kinds of pop-up vlogs and stuff like that. But for now, that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button because it will kind of let other people know who have the same interests about knitting, about my podcast, and subscribe if you already haven't, if you enjoyed it, so that you're notified of the episodes. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.